welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another declutter video. Today we are tackling my bronzers, single bronzers. This is not everything. I also have this massive basket of extra powder bronzers and also my cream products. And also in this video, I want to do a declutter of my face palettes. I have already decluttered several categories of my makeup. I've decluttered primers, setting sprays, foundation, concealers, face powders, blushes, and highlighters. All those videos are already live on my channel and you can binge watch them. I will have the playlist also linked for you in the description box. This is the area with my face palettes that I also need to get down to because I added this storage this year, a few months ago, and I moved the tray with my lipsticks in this drawer as well. So I need to now reorganize this area with my face palettes because I can't see things this way because they're piled up on top of each other, and when I can't see things, I don't use them. I forget about them. Definitely some things that need to be decluttered. I've had some of these palettes for quite some time. I do love my collection. I do love my makeup. I do have a healthy rotation for most of my products. I have started Shop My Stash series in 2023, so that definitely helped me with rotating my products and get a use out of them. I'm considerably a small channel, and most of my makeup I purchase myself with my own money. So I'm definitely more mindful of the products that I have been purchasing. So whatever I have, most of the products I do enjoy and I want to keep them. And I don't want to declutter products just to declutter them for the satisfaction of the video. I will, however, be decluttering some of the products today because I either don't enjoy their quality, they don't perform as well as I thought they would on my skin, or the undertone doesn't work, or maybe the expiration date happened and the product has changed texture or scent, things like that. So there are definitely products that will be leaving my collection today for one reason or another. Before we get started, I would love to welcome new visitors and new subscribers to my channel. Hi, my name is Eve and I love all things beauty. Here on my channel, I primarily talk about beauty and lifestyle. I upload new videos every week. If that sounds interesting to you, I hope you enjoyed this video, and stick around, subscribe to my channel, and I will be seeing you in my future videos. And now, without further ado, let's dive in. All right, guys, so all the products are here. We're going to start from bronzers, and I'm going to go, I think I may start here, and then we'll go to this tray right here. So I do have most of the powder products right here, as you can see, and some of them just do not fit, and they kind of overflowed here. This drawer does not close anymore, so it was just standing on the side, and it was driving me absolutely bonkers. I have an OCD, and things have to make sense always. I also have these two bins here. One is going to be for decluttered items that I'm completely removing out of my collection, and the second one is going to be for my project use-up products. This is a new approach that I've taken for this decluttering season of 2023 for my collection, and I have done this for all the previous decluttering episodes that are already live on my channel. So I do have a project use-up cut out for me for 2024. That will be interesting. I will do, however, a roundup, like a project use-up intro for 2024, so you will get to see all those products together after I decluttered everything. So let's begin from this portion right here. Let's begin from this product. This is a Juvia's Place a bronzed bronzer in the shade Light. This is a wonderful duo. I really like this. It works for my light complexion when I'm at my lightest. A wonderful formula, is not patchy, not powdery, beautifully blendable. So I'm definitely keeping this bronzer. I am also going to be keeping this Smashbox trio. This is step-by-step contour palette. This is a considerably new palette for me. I just recently picked it up. I think it was Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. I really like the quality of all these three products. New palette that was launched this year from Physicians Formula, Butter Bronze Contouring Palette. So I got mine in the shade Contour 1. I like how compact it is. I also think that the quality of all these three products is really nice. It's that very nice, soft and blendable and buildable formula that we know of from Physicians Formula. But I feel like I am not really getting too much use out of this palette. This contouring shade is very nice. I very much enjoy it. And then this bronzer is very nice also, but it's more of my very tanned summer complexion, which again only happens in summer. So as much as I think that this is a really good quality palette, I just feel like I'm not really using it, and I think I'm going to declutter this today. Now let's talk about this Ulta Beauty Big Bronzer. I think it only comes in one shade, guys, if I'm not mistaken. This is a wonderful glowy formula. It does have a pigment of a bronziness, and it also has this beautiful, super smooth, gorgeous sheen. This one is definitely super gorgeous, performs like a high-end product. I'm definitely going to be keeping it. This is a beautiful product. And since we're talking about Ulta Beauty Faux Glow Bronzer, this is a matte formula, but also has some type of glowiness in it. This is very interesting formulation, very unique. I got mine in shade light to medium. It's called Full Glow, but also says matte bronzer. You see what they did here? It's matte formula, but also it's somehow giving you like that glow from within. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. One of the best bronzers that I have in my collection that I so much enjoy. This definitely is a high-end formulation. It's just such a stunning formula. I can't rave about this bronzer enough. I think it's heavily underrated. I don't think enough people talk about it. I know a lot of you actually purchased it from my recommendations. This is a bronzer that if I run out of it, I will definitely be repurchasing this because this is a stunning, stunning formula. The packaging is also really nice and sturdy, even though it looks a little bit cheapy. So this also is the shade that works for my palest complexion and it's super flattering. Definitely staying. Let's talk about this Fenty Beauty bronzer. I have mine in the shade In the Sun. I love this bronzer. This is beautiful. I also really love this shade for my fairest complexion. Definitely keeping this bronzer. This is from Shiseido. I've had this bronzer for some time and I don't think it's available anymore. This is, however, really beautiful formula, very soft and super blendable. This formula had a little bit of sheen in it and it was so stunning. But this is no longer available. I never use it on camera, so I am going to be decluttering this today. This is a bronzer skin bronzing powder in the shade Ombre from Nabla. What a beautiful formula. This is also firmly pressed. You can kind of see a little bit of a heartband going on, but that really doesn't stop me from using this product. I love this bronzer. It's so beautiful on skin. It just looks like silky finish. It just makes my skin look so beautiful and glowy and healthy and younger and just doing all these amazing things. I love this. I'm keeping this. This bronzer is from Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil, and I really like this formula. As you can see, baby pan happening already. This bronzer was in my Shop My Stash this year at one point. Formula and the shade and undertone, everything is just 10 out of 10. But I think I've had this for some time and I'm going to be putting this into my project use up. I think it's about time I push a gas bottle on this. This next bronzer is from LYS. It's called No Limits Matte Bronzer shade Motivate Light. This is a bronzer that's very, very beautiful. It's, however, quite pigmented. Beautiful shade, but it's my summer shade when I tan, but I'm definitely keeping this. LYS is also considerably affordable brand in Sephora. So the next one is Glowish by Huda Beauty. I got mine in shade 01 Light. I really enjoyed this bronzer. It's very firmly pressed. This bronzer just works for me. It has a beautiful undertone, beautiful finish. I do get a little bit of like a satin effect with this formula, and it just looks so thin on skin and just so natural. And I want to keep this. I reach for this bronzer quite a bit. Let's take care of this guy right here. Poor thing, it's all broken. City Bronzer from Maybelline. I had mine in shade 100. This is their lightest shade. Broken packaging is my latest pet peeve when it comes to makeup. I feel like we're at the point of where makeup industry has evolved so high. Something that breaks after a few uses is not acceptable. If something breaks, I don't want to keep this in my collection anymore. I don't want to be going above and beyond trying to keep it closed. I can't travel with any of these products. As you can see, massive pan here, barely anything left, but this shade is beautiful on my fairest complexion. I know we talk quite a bit about brands not having shade ranges for deeper complexions, but when it comes to bronzers, it's one of those categories when it's very difficult to find a good bronzer for fair skin, but because a lot of them would make you either yellow or orange or red. Is one of those bronzers that has very lovely formula and also a wonderful shade for fair complexion. But this is currently in my project pan for 2023. I'm definitely going to be finishing up by the end of the year. I use bronzers every single day. I'm very fair, and I like some definition on my face when I wear makeup, so I will definitely be finishing this up. This bronzer is from Give Beauty. This is called Pick It Up Cream Contour and Powder Bronze Endure. Shade Heating Up Cream, and this is a powder. The shade that is borderline contour bronzer type of deal, and it looks beautiful and flattering, and the formula is absolutely stunning and pleasure to work with. Both of the formulas are very, very nice, but also the shade works with my fairest complexion. These two bronzers are from Sigma Beauty. They are in the shade Light, and I have one in the shade Medium. I like both of them. They kind of look similar, but the fair one is the one that I use the most right now. And when I want to go a little bit deeper, the pigment definitely comes off deeper. Even though in the pan they look kind of similar, but on the skin there is a difference. And the fair one works very nicely for me right now for my fairest complexion. So I'm going to definitely keep this. Then let's talk about this Infallible from L'Oreal bronzer. I got mine in shade Light 250. This is the shade for my tan complexion. Very lovely formula. This has coverage, you guys. It almost feels like a powder foundation. It does have coverage. So I like to use this even with medium coverage foundations sometimes because it does give me a really nice additional coverage for my complexion. I really like this. Bronze Boost from Physicians Formula. This bronzer just would not want to finish. I have been using this a lot in 2023 and I just got to a slightest dent. This bronzer is quite firmly pressed, but I really like it. It's just so pretty. It has a beautiful buildable pigment. This is a very buildable formula. I can go light-handed or I can go ham on this. And it's beautiful either way. I like this bronzer, but I'm going to put this in a project use up because this packaging is very bulky. I also have face palettes, pretty much all face palettes from Physicians Formula. I have a lot of their bronzers there. Kiko Milano bronzer, Blossoming Beauty floral bronzer, shade 01 Golden Honey. This was a collection they had last spring. Such a cute packaging. Kiko Milano is a brand that I'm personally very curious about. They are made in Italy. I've been to Kiko Milano's store in Europe and I popped in the store in Miami. I recently went to Kiko Milano's store when I was in London and I have swatched so many of their products and I just have to tell you that I love what I saw and how the product felt and the shades, the undertones, like the quality of everything, super cute packaging. So from what I've tried from Kiko Milano so far, I've enjoyed, but for most part, the products that I've tried, they were good or very good, but they're not the most inclusive brand when it comes to shade range. But I want to try their formulas. They seem to cater more for the lighter skin tones, which is what I am, and I would love to try more of their stuff. This is one of my favorite bronzers to reach for. Beautiful, smooth, non-powdery, just looks so beautiful on skin. This undertone is so stunning, and I just want to continue using it. I'm going to put this in a project use up. I want to finish this in 2024. This is the bronzer from Makeup Revolution, Mega Bronzer 01 Cool. I've talked about this bronzer last time at the Declutter video, and I did tell you guys that there's a discrepancy within this product. It does say 01 Cool, but this bronzer is very warm on me. This looks almost like a reddish undertone. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful formula. It's very smooth. It's almost like buttery feel. It's very great, but they don't have good range. I think there's only either 1 or 2 shades available. And this is the lightest one, and it's called Cool, but it's absolutely not cool. Last time I didn't declutter it because I thought I would use it in summer and gave it a little bit more love. I did use it in summer a little bit, but then again, we're going into winter and I just feel like I don't want to hold on to this product anymore. I just don't want to keep this. It's a declutter. Pat McGrath bronzer. This is a new bronzer that was launched this year. Skin Fetish Divine Bronzer. I got mine in the shade Naked Desire. This is such a gorgeous formula. I've talked about this bronzer already several times on my channel. The formula is so good and easy to work with. Looks stunning on skin. It's very thin. There's no fallout, so there's not going to be any wasted product. But besides that, this specific shade, this is a lighter shade I think they have in their range. As a side note, I'm usually the lightest shade in their range for most part in all the brands. And this bronzer is very unique to my collection because it has this beautiful, almost peachy undertone. It's so flattering and it works for my palest complexion so beautifully. It's one of my favorite bronzers now in my collection for sure. This guy right here, Marc Jacobs, what is it called? Omega Bronze 102 Tantric. I love this bronzer, you guys. I know it's not available anymore and the packaging is bulky, but I just can't let it go. It's so good. I am going to keep it. This product right here is from Catrice Holiday Skin Luminous Bronze. As you can see, the packaging is broken again. This is the bronzer that I purchased in Europe when I traveled, and this is a very nice formula. It has a very beautiful undertone as well. I had mine in a shade Summer in the City 010. This works with my palest complexion so beautifully. It was never available in United States. Turns out that it was only European line. This product now is brought to United States in the form of a duo. It has a highlighter and a bronzer, but this is this formula in that little duo. It kind of looks like a Charlotte Tilbury bronzer and highlighter duo. I think that's what they were going for. But this one is super lovely formula. It's also heavily scented, unfortunately. This is a scent that also lingers. Once you apply it on your face, you can smell it for a while on your face. And this is just something that I don't like. You already know that I'm very, very particular when it comes to scents in cosmetic products, especially skincare. It's almost like 9 out of 10 times it's a no-go for me. I would not even put it on my face. When it comes to colorful cosmetics, I don't mind if a lip product is scented. I usually do not get any type of reaction on my lips. But when it comes to skin, my facial skin, if something is heavily scented like this, and it lingers. It, first of all, it irritates my eyes. I do have very sensitive eyes that water, and if my eye starts watering, forget it. It's like for hours and hours. Sometimes it would be a half of a day before my eye stops watering, and it's very irritating. I unfortunately cannot use a product that is this heavily scented, even though it's beautiful. Like the formula is nice, the shade is nice, undertone, all that. But I will be decluttering this. I think we did okay. I still have a little bit of space here. These are going to be the products that I am decluttering, these 4. And these are the products that are going into my project use up for 2024. Now let's get into this tray right here where I have my cream products. So most of these products are really good quality, but I definitely need to declutter some out of here. Let's just start from this Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer, shade 02 Butter Biscuit. Beautiful formula. Also is that borderline contour bronzer type of deal. Has a really nice kind of cool undertone in it, and it's very flattering on my fair complexion when I'm at my palest. I'm definitely keeping this. Makeup Revolution Ultra Cream Bronzer, shade Light. Absolutely love this. Beautiful bronzer. Also kind of is a borderline between bronzer and contour. This is the type of shade that works very well with my fairest complexion. This also is a bronzer that goes on a powdered face. Wonderful formula to travel with when you need easy product. NARS bronzer, Sunkissed bronzing cream in the shade Laguna. Right now it's Laguna 2. This is the bronzer I'm keeping. This is one of the best bronzers, to my opinion, on the market. Also has incredible value for the price and the size. This is a Juvia's Place cream bronzer. This was launched this year, shade Buttercream. This is a beautiful shade. It almost is more of a contouring shade. It's a little bit more in a cooler tone. I think it's super easy to work with, but it does have shimmer particles in them, and they're visible on the skin. Even after you set your complexion with powder or matte bronzer, the shimmer particles are still visible, so it's just something to consider, but I personally enjoy it. I think that's excellent formula. LYS Beauty No Limits bronzer in the shade Motivate. I love this so much. You can see how much I've used. I really like this formula. It's very soft though. It's very soft. I usually apply it with a brush from here. This is such a wonderful formula. There's absolutely nothing bad that I have to say about this. It's beautiful. I'm keeping this. Kiko Milano's Sculpting Touch, a creamy stick contour. Got mine in the shade 200. This is a brand new product for me. You will see this in my upcoming full face of Kiko Milano video, so I'm definitely keeping this. I haven't even tested this on skin yet. The next one is from Persona. This is in the shade, this is a bronze multi-stick in the shade Mojave. Beautiful product. I'll swatch this right here. Look how nice this is. This works with my fairest complexion. Wonderful formula. Wonderful. You guys, when I say wonderful formula, I just don't want to be repetitive and say the same things. And wonderful, I mean, like, it's easy to apply. You can apply it with a brush, with a sponge, with however. So there's really no like specific tool that you would need to use, and it's very nice and blendable. It doesn't fade throughout the day. It's not patching out. This is what I mean by wonderful formula, and obviously I want to keep those products because they just work. Check all the boxes on the list. The Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer Stick is in the shade Baked. This was their old packaging, guys. This is the one that I will be decluttering, even though it's a wonderful formula, and I think they repackaged it, and now they're like in super teeny tiny sizes. I don't know what that's about, but I will be decluttering this because this is very, very old. This is a new formula that I picked up from Physicians Formula. It's called Body Glow Liquid Bronzer. I think it only comes in one shade, shade Bronze. This is a liquid bronzer. It works for your face and body. It does have a quite large opening here. I wish they would make it in a nozzle so it would be a little bit smaller opening, but that's fine. It's still workable. This is a really nice, almost like a serum-y formula that gives you a little bit of hydration, but it's also not too slippery or slidey on your face. It's very easy to apply. There's no patchiness. It's smooth on skin. It wears beautiful. It gives you beautiful glow. Beautiful formula. Definitely keeping. This one is from Smashbox Always On. This is a cream eyeshadow. That is correct. You're not seeing things. This is in the shade Sepia. And this is an eyeshadow, but I will swatch this for you. This is a shade that is perfect. I will repeat, perfect for bronzing my face. I usually do not use any type of cream single eyeshadows on my eyes. So this shade is spot on, beautiful bronzing shade for me. Great part about this formula does not budge, you guys. It's very easy to apply. However, this formula sets quickly, so you need to work in small areas, but you do get a reasonable time to blend the product. So it's not too difficult to work with it. This does not budge off of your face. This does not budge off of your face. It just lasts all day. And this is also a matte formula, so it's self-setting. But this is excellent, excellent formula. It's also very pigmented, so you don't need a ton of product. This is such a under-discovered product that I don't think a lot of people know about it, but I am going to actually put this into my project use out because I've had this product for some time and I just need to finish this. This is a putty bronzer from e.l.f. I got mine in the shade Honey Drip. I had two of them and I finished one of them earlier this year. It wasn't a project pan of mine for 2023. So as you can see, I have a nice dip going on here. This is a nice bronzer, but it absolutely needs to be set with either a matte bronzer or a powder because this does not last on its own on my skin. It just starts sliding down, but I need to set it very well. I think I'm going to put this in a project use up. I think it's about time. And this is bronzer from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is cream bronzer in the shade Amber. This bronzer has a very beautiful formula, and as you can see, I have a really nice dip going on here because I try to use it, but this bronzer has a very tricky undertone. It almost makes me look yellow. Even though the formula is nice, I don't get along with the shade. I will be decluttering this today. These are the bronzers, the cream formulas that I'm going to be keeping. These two are going into the project use up of 2024, and these two I am fully decluttering. Now my drawer here looks very nice and organized, and I kept my Marc Jacobs bronzer on my vanity because it obviously doesn't fit here, but this looks so much better, and I do still have a little bit of space to grow. Now let's get into my face palettes. All right, these are all my face palettes. There's definitely a little bit too many, and some definitely have to go, and some of them I very much love. I do have a weakness for face palettes. However, I'm also selective with my face palettes. So anyway, let's get into it. The first one, Too Faced Natural Face Palette, forever favorite. I am keeping this. I love this palette. I travel with this. I love all the shades, intense highlighters. I just love it, love it, love it. Keeping this. This is a Glow from Clinique. This palette was a limited edition from this year, and I raved about this palette on my channel quite a bit when I got it. I think it was launched either in spring or summer sometime. Gorgeous formulas. These are all full-size products. It was super affordable. Then it went down on sale and I was like, oh my god, guys, you just need to run and get it because this is so good. It was a limited edition palette, but no longer available, but I'm still keeping it. Revolution Pro 4K highlighting palette in a rose gold. 4 highlighting shades here, as you can see, and I do have a pan going on for this shade. This is like a beautiful, super icy highlighter. I use this in my inner corner and a lot of times on my face too, but I don't really reach for, especially these two shades. I would reach to this one sometimes, but this would be like my primary shade that I would keep it for. So I'm actually going to, I think, declutter this palette because first of all, it's no longer available. Second of all, I do have a few other super icy highlighters like this now that I can reach to. I don't think I need to keep this palette anymore, but I'll tell you what, Makeup Revolution can do beautiful highlighters. This is a Physicians Formula All-Star Face Palette. I had 3 palettes. Let me pull them all together. So I have Butter Dream Team All-Star and their first one that was a collab with Wally Hong. I have a dedicated video for these 3 palettes where I go into super nitty-gritty details, swatching everything, comparing things, talking about shades. These 2 blushes are so stunning. They were both limited editions, and I actually wish they were permanent shades because these are just gorgeous. Super beautiful highlighters. I'm definitely keeping this. This palette is actually still available, but I just love that palette. All-Star palette was launched, I think, after, like as a second palette, and slightly bit different layout here. It has a powder, some blushes, highlighters. This highlighter is my most used one. It's so beautiful on skin. I just love this palette. The bronzers, everything in this palette I really love. I'm keeping this. So this one is a Butter Dream Team face palette. This was the first palette that they did that all the shades are available in singles. So this was a really good value palette when it was launched because you could try all the shades for a fraction of the price. And then if you wanted to, you can buy all these shades separately. I love this palette. I use it. Everything in this palette is beautiful and works for my complexion. This is one of the most gorgeous blushes I have in my collection. Besides that, it has incredible like buttery feel to it and it just goes on skin so beautifully, but it also has the most beautiful rosy shade. This is called Muru Muru Butter Blush, just for reference. Definitely keeping all my 3 Physicians formulas. This palette right here is from Smashbox. It was a limited edition several years ago for holiday. I loved it. Bronzer, contour, powder, and then the rest of these 6 pans were highlighters of all different kinds. And this is very old. I'm going to declutter this at this point. let's get into these two palettes right here. So these were Benefit Pink Squad Cheek Leaders and Cheek Leaders Brown Squad. I really enjoy both of these palettes. Hoola bronzer is obviously a favorite. Dallas bronzer is so beautiful. It does have a sheen. Tinkle highlighter is so gorgeous. Dandelion is still available, but I will tell you that Dandelion is super pale, just so pale that it doesn't come off on my skin. California blush, I don't believe this is available any longer. So this palette, again, we have Hoola. As you can see, I've used this quite a bit. Then Cookie Highlighter, which is absolutely stunning. Gold Rush and Carlista blush shades. And then Hoola Caramel, which I've never used because it's not my shade at all. These 4 shades were used quite a bit, but I don't think any of these blushes are available anymore. So it's just a Cookie Highlighter and a Hoola. In my last collective monthly haul video, that video is already live on my channel, I showed you guys that I purchased a really large empty magnetic palette, and I told you I have a project cut out for me. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to depot these products and just only keep the ones that are first available, and second of all, the ones that I'm obviously using. Let me know if you want to see that on camera. If not, I will just do it on my own because this is going to be a very messy project. That being said, I'm keeping these, but also I will be depotting a lot of these products because I want to turn them into singles. Hyper Real Glow palette from MAC. This was a highlighting palette. This was like a gold version of this because I remember they had like a few different shade variations. This was a gold one. Stunning highlighter, but I'll tell you, I don't really use gold highlighters too often. I do have a few single highlighters. I've already decluttered my highlighters before this video. So if you wanted to see my full collection and declutter, check out that video. But I do have some gold options for highlighters, both high-end and more affordable ones. So I don't really reach for this palette. These 2 shades do not work for me. This one was the one that I would use, but I don't use it often enough. So I'm going to be decluttering this. Hourglass Ambient Face Palette Jellyfish. I love this palette. This was my first time trying complexion products, like powder pressed products from Hourglass, and I was not disappointed. This palette was very expensive. I did pay full price for this, but I'm not disappointed. It's stunning. There are 2 finishing powders here. They are beautiful. There's definitely a purpose for them in my collection. Once in a blue moon, I would want to reach for a finishing powder. Again, I'm a combination oily skin. I don't use finishing powders too often. I prefer setting powders for my complexion, but I don't mind having some of the very good quality ones in my collection. But these are stunning. Bronzer is stunning. Both blushes are stunning. This highlighter is so gorgeous. I do have a video, or maybe even 2, where I use this palette. It's just so beautiful. Gives you like glossy skin. So stunning. I definitely do not regret spending so much money on it. It was a good value after all. If you would buy all these products in singles, it would definitely be more expensive. I do love this palette a lot, so I'm definitely keeping it. Sephora Collection Face Palette in the shade Enchant. This is available in 2 different shades. Mine is a lighter version of this. Stunning. All 4 shades are stunning. The highlighter is a little bit more on the brighter side, but it's very smooth. Beautiful 2 blushes. One is a glowier version. This could be used on its own or as a topper. This is a stunning blush, more of your like natural soft matte finish. Beautiful bronzer. Stunning palette. I highly recommend. I am keeping it. This one is from the brand Pupa Milano, Italian beauty brand. It is not available in US, unfortunately. Never Without face palette. Very beautiful palette. Had a bronzer, beautiful blush, powder, concealer shade, and a highlighting shade. Don't believe this is available anymore. I purchased it a few years ago when I was traveling, seeing my family. I've used this palette quite a bit. There's some dents going on here, but this palette is no longer available and the brand is not very easily reachable. Today I'll be decluttering this palette. So now we get into the situation right here, which are my empty palettes. So this palette I picked up on Amazon as a set. I got this palette and I got a 9-pan empty palette as well. Both of those empty palettes have mirrors. I really like the format and the quality of this palette is really lovely. Here you see some of the blushes. This is a Clinique blush, which is still available. These 2 blushes are the satin blushes from Essence. They were singles and wonderful formula, but they discontinued them. What a shame. These were fantastic. I also depotted these 4, and let me show you what they were. These 4 products are from this NARS face palette, and I actually removed the whole entire thing. You may have seen this palette in my previous decluttering video, but this was a face palette with 4 of these products, and then the middle portion had some eyeshadows, and I did not use those eyeshadows, so I depotted them. I removed this whole entire thing. So this is a very nice quality, very sturdy palette, has a beautiful mirror. I am going to turn this into a magnetic palette. So within these products, I think I'm going to be letting go of these blushes because they are no longer available. I will let go of this one because it's broken. It's beautiful blush, but it kind of reminds me of my Charlotte Tilbury blush right now that has a little bit of glow to it. I don't really use glowy blushes too often. I do have some in my collection, but I don't use them too often. I prefer more of like a matte formula of a blush or a natural formula with highlighter. That's just my preference. This is also a very uncomfortable pan. So this one was a Laguna bronzer. This shade is so beautiful. It was called Dolce Vita. This is such a gorgeous shade. I want to keep that. This is Orgasm, and this one is Luster. This has a beautiful like velvety feel to it, very beautiful blush, but it also is beautiful coral with a sheen, and it just has this very subtle sheen, and I really love these 4 products. So I'm going to be decluttering these 3, and I'm going to for now keep these 4. So this palette is a Z palette from Ulta. Here I have some of my singles, which we will get to them later. This is a highlighter from Catrice. Broken packaging, had to remove it. Also the pan, as you can see, was very, very soft. I was trying to remove it and then it bent. I forgot to include this in my highlighter declutter video. And also I don't think I talked about that Essence banana powder in my powder video. This powder I'm using, as you can see, this one is one of my favorite powders. It's been repurchased 1,000,001 times over the years. This is a stunning highlighter. Like, look at this. I think I made it into my last year's yearly favorite. Such a stunning formula, but it's very poor packaging. I know this is kind of like a face palette video, but I'm going to declutter the highlighter today, and I am going to be keeping the powder because I need to finish this. So these are all the products that I'm keeping. This is going to be a project that I need to depot some of my empty palettes right here. And these are all the products that I'm going to be decluttering, some palettes and some singles. I will wrap up my declutter video here. I think I've done a good amount of organizational work today and decluttering. Definitely decluttered some of the products that were on my way and I knew I needed to declutter them out of my collection. Now I feel much better about the products that I'm keeping. I will have the declutter playlist link for you in the description box. Please enjoy the content, stay on my channel, hang out, see what we do here. We have a lot of fun here. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you're having a wonderful December. I hope you're enjoying your holiday season with your loved ones, with your family and friends. If you enjoyed this video, give this a big thumb up. I would love you to subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. And thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next videos. Bye.